Wrestling Matters Podcast, episode 70, is dedicated to Rowdy Roddy Piper.
I am surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans. Professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up. This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now. Hey, start the show.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Professional wrestling. This is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14! Make it till death!
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold Simpson!
Yeah, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is me, it's that HEAD, back for another episode of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, episode 70. Holy moly. Hope you're all good in whatever it is you are doing. Hope you enjoyed the professional wrestling world this past week. Kind of an average Raw for me. It was okay. Divas Revolution continued and all that, but I'm most looking forward to this Raw. More on that later. Like I say, hope you're all well. Been busy this week. Doing a lot of stuff on the internet as far as the Wrestling Matters Podcast is concerned. Now, I'm going to start off with a few promotions. Might as well get these out the way. If you bear with me, I will find these and I will check them out. Now, August 29th. I'll start with these ones. August 29th, if I can find it. I know it's here somewhere. Facebook.com/WM Podcast. Facebook page. It has reached 922 podcasts. 22 likes as I'm recording this. And that is just incredible in its own right. Big thank you to David Anderson for helping me with the promotion and everything. And yeah, I mean, holy moly. It's working to a T. Now to the promotions, more on that in a minute. Wrestling over 18s only. Saturday, August 29th. The Black E. 1 Great George Street, Liverpool. Doors open at 7 p.m. Showtime 8 p.m. Tickets are £10, £12 on the door. Probably do if you want to take a family there with you. I don't know, but it's not for families. It is for over 18s. When I say over 18, when I say family, I mean a bunch of you guys. A bunch of you might want to go there as well. But it's not for little kids, ladies and gents. You might want to have to put the children to bed. It is 18 rated. It is rated 18. And like I said, tickets are £10, £12 on the door. It's in association with Rewind Design and Mystery Island. For more information on this, go to facebook.com/TNT Wrestling at TNT Wrestling UK on Twitter, and for more information, tntwrestling.co.uk. That's right, you heard that right. Now, there's a few matches that will take place that I already know, and I will promote these right now to the best that I can. Now, there's a wrestler from Chingara promotion, some Japanese promotion. If I pronounced that wrong, I apologize. I know Dave Anderson might have questioned me on that. But the guy who I'm talking about is spelled Ophidian. I've never heard of the guy, but however it's pronounced, he's coming to the show August 29th because he's going to meet Chris Ridgway one-on-one. So it is a big deal. He will be coming, so make sure you check that out. Now, the main event is HW qualifier. I believe that it is. Yeah, HW final qualifier. It's a ladder match, and it involves somebody we all know, well, you may know, Bubblegum, going one-on-one with Stevie Boy. That's right, Stevie Boy, the NAK member and former Bucky Boys member of the ICW. He will be there as well. And from the looks of it, Kaylee Ray's definitely going to be there because she's in the triple threat match against Lana and Casey Owens of the Owens twins. And just a little shout out to Summer Explosion and to TNT Wrestling. You might want to check the spelling on Kaylee Ray's name. Just saying. You might want to check the spelling. Just saying. Anywho, the Japanese wrestler that I mentioned, again spelled Ophidian, will be coming to Birkenhead Brickenhead Market. That's right. It is mystery. It's Vicious Vel at the town for a while. He will be there August 28th, 2 o'clock to 3:30. Photos, LS for autographs, or both just LA, whatever that is. But he's coming to the market, Brickenhead Market. For more information, call 07476381389 for more information. So be sure to be aware of that. Now that's all the matches that I've done for that one. I'll do some more promotions as well. Shout out to our affiliates, OSW TV. Be sure to check them out at oswtv.co.uk. More on them later. August 14th, again. Excuse me, that's my little work that I've been doing. August 14th, 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock, Mystery Island will have an appearance by the American Wolves. That's right, Davey Richards, Eddie Edwards. Now, the Wolves as they're now known. Again, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. That was my hard drive going doolally tap. I apologise for that. Now, like I said, they'll be appearing there August 14th. Make sure you're there. Make sure you get there. It's Mystery Island. Appearing at Mystery Island August 14th. You will be howling if you miss it. That's what it says on this flyer. I'm just reading the flyers out, guys. That's what it says on the flyers. I'm not used to this new laptop that I've got yet. BCW will come to Kilmarnock on 2015 on August 28th. Kilmarnock Grand Hall in Kilmarnock. If you're there, get there. For more information, go to bcw-wrestling.com. For more information, I will read you a match that's been signed. Kaylee Ray and Wolfgang versus Jack Jester and Nikki Storm. So be sure to check that out. For more information on that, go to facebook.com/BCW Wrestling as well. And I'm sure all the information that you will need is on there. Now, for more promotions, I'm not done yet, guys. WrestleZone will be coming to the Northern Hotel, Aberdeen, August 22nd, 2015. Doors open at 6:30. First bell is 7 o'clock. And for more information again on this, go to facebook.com/WrestleZone Scotland, all one word. And a few matches that have been signed. I've got one here. That's been signed. Aspen Faith and Sami Zayn will face Nikki Storm and Grado. That's right, you heard that here. Mixed tag match. That will take place August 22nd. And like I said, guys, for more information, doors open 6:30, starts at 7 p.m. Tickets on the door, £10 kids, 12 adults. And apparently, from where I've gotten this flyer here, it will feature Nikki Storm, Sami Zayn, as it clearly says there, with a mixed tag match. It will feature Grado, because he will be in that mixed tag match also. Also, Doug Williams will be there too. So be sure to check that out. Like I say, for more information on it, go to facebook.com/WrestleZone Scotland. That's right, WrestleZone Scotland. All one word. Be sure to check that out. Now, I might as well do this one as well. Dragon Pro presents True Believers Live Pro Wrestling, Sunday, September 27th, 2015. Rodney Parade, Newport. Doors open 6 p.m. First bell 6:30. Tickets are £7.50. Ticket hotline is 016 33 670 690 as well. So be sure to check that out for more information on that. I'll probably promote that again down the road. Go to facebook.com/pages/dragon-pro-wrestling. So be sure to check that out as well. And why not give them a like while they're there? While you're there as well. And also, Brickenhead Market, we'll see October 16th. Again, I'll promote this down the road again in the coming weeks. 3 o'clock to 4:30, Brickenhead Market, Mystery Island. It will be, you want some? Come get some. And no, ladies and gentlemen, it's not John Cena. It's ICW's hardcore prince himself, Jack Jester. He will be there October 16th, 3 o'clock to 4:30, Brickenhead Market. Be sure to check that out. And again, I'll remind you of that on future podcasts. And that's about it for the promotion side of things there, ladies and gentlemen. Also, be sure to check out all the others as well, and even TWT Wrestling. TWT Wrestling will be coming to you at the back end of October. For more information, go to the official TWT on Twitter or facebook.com/TWT Wrestling. And for more information as well on EPW coming to your area, go to EPW American Wrestling on Facebook and EPW Wrestling 1 on Twitter, and epwwrestling.co.uk as well, so be sure to check that out. And with that being said, ladies and gents, boys and girls, children of all ages, also, I might as well get this in as well. Be sure to check out Shug's Hoose Party and the Merry Hill Show. The Merry Hill Show they had before the Shug's House Party night. Be sure to check them both out. They are now on ICW On Demand. ICW On Demand. Go to insanechamp.wrestling.co.uk or better yet, go to the Facebook page. That's right, the Facebook page of Insane Championship Wrestling, which is facebook.com/Insane Wrestling for more information. And trust me, you missed a hell of a night if you didn't see what took place at Shug's House Party. So be sure to check that out. And the show that was on before the Shug's House Party was long before Wesley Snipes, part of ICW Wayne Stock Weekend. It is now on the ICW On Demand service along with Shug's House Party. Again, guys, you're missing out. It's very cheap. $6 American, $5.99 for American, $3.94 I believe it is for English. For UK, I don't know, I've forgotten, but there. Just go to Insane Wrestling on Facebook, and go to www.insanewrestling.co.uk for more information. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am Anthony Walker, and I'll be back after this quick timeout with the Raw, SmackDown, and the usual stuff that I do. Raw, SmackDown, Ring of Honor, TNA Wrestling, and NXT. So stay tuned. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Madness Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland. Well, I'll be reviewing their shows. Oh my God! Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and Soundcloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 2 of the Wrestling Matters Podcast. Hope you're all well. Now we'll get right into it. That's right, we'll get right into the Raw review of the Raw main talking points. Well, this is a first. Actually, it's a first. It's 4 firsts. As SummerSlam approaches, and with it the Undertaker and Brock Lesnar's rematch, the Authority decided to ramp up the biggest pre-party of the summer by announcing a trio of never-before-seen matches. First up was the Big Show against Dean Ambrose, followed by the Divas champion, the former Divas and NXT Women's Champion Paige, against the current NXT Women's Champion Sasha Banks, and Kevin Owens against Randy Orton, and Nikki Bella, Alicia Fox against Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Looking to get in on the fun, Seth Rollins seized hold of the microphone, and after recapping his own historic victory at WrestleMania, he demanded that the WWE Universe acknowledge his greatness for the first time ever. Out came John Cena, demanding a first time ever match of his own against Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rollins backed out, so to speak, but the Authority allowed a compromise. Rollins would battle Cena one-on-one, but it will be in a never-before stipulation, because it wouldn't be for the World Championship, it'd be for the US title instead. More on that later on. Big Show beats Dean Ambrose by a countout because it was a fight. Dean Ambrose took it to the Big Show, but the Big Show managed to knock out Dean Ambrose on the outside, and Ambrose didn't quite get back into the match, and Big Show ended up winning. And yes, The Miz was at ringside. I'm not even going to talk about that. Neville beats Fandango. Sasha Banks beats Paige. And Rusev offered a gift to Summer Rae. Now, Rusev's got his groove back, and he's got the stunning Summer Rae to thank for that. So like any man worth his salt, Rusev took his opportunity on Raw to, for the very first time ever, best out gifts upon his beloved manager. It was a solid plan, but the execution was adamantly hit and miss. The neutral Dog Ziggler, Cold Bro, was a hit, but the cold dead fish meant a symbolized Lana ending up backfiring when the ravishing Russian herself stomped into the ring and rubbed Summer Rae's face in the creature, the fish, before giving Rusev a slap across the face. That wasn't the first time that's ever happened, but given the events surrounding it, it was certainly the most memorable. Lucha Dragons beat Los Matadores, another thing, and Primetime Players and the New Day get into it on the outside. They didn't exactly mark their reunion with a picnic, but then again, the Wyatt family has never been your traditional brood. Now that Luke Harper has realized his purpose, Bray Wyatt's prodigal son officially returned to the flock and pledged his allegiance to the new face of fear, or the self-proclaimed new face of fear, once more on Raw. Following a bone-chilling sermon from the Eater of Worlds, having reunited with his clan, Wyatt turned his attentions to Roman Reigns and the brother Dean Ambrose, who find themselves facing an enemy they still do not understand once again. WWE Universe, the Wyatt family's here. Run. Now, Charlotte and Becky Lynch defeat Paige and Nikki Bella. Defeat Alicia Fox and Nikki Bella, excuse me. The Divas Revolution continues and continues in full effect. Randy Orton beats Kevin Owens by disqualification. Kevin Owens has mixed it up with John Cena a few times now, but the brawler has never tangled one-on-one with the C Nation's leader, chief contemporary Randy Orton. Luckily, Raw was a night of firsts, which meant Owens got to check off another name on the main roster's bucket list. So, did KO catch an RKO? Not exactly. The former NXT champion beat the mush of the Express Predator for the mandatory of what quickly turned into a brawl. But Sheamus, who sat at the commentary booth, bro-kicked the Viper just as he began to reclaim the advantage. As Sheamus and Owens began to gang up on Orton, Cesaro thundered down the ramp to Orton's rescue with fists and uppercuts on Owens and Sheamus. Owens caught the King of Swing with a pop-up powerbomb, though, to end the night just the way he likes it, on his term. And now for the main event of the evening. It would appear the unification of the US and WWE World Heavyweight Championships under Seth Rollins will have to wait. John Cena, first ever defense of his United States Championship against the Architect, ended with the C Nation leader victorious, though not for the lack of effort on the part of the future of WWE. The contestant was, in all fairness to Rollins, a neck and neck affair, thanks mainly to Rollins' scouting of the champ and his timely, awareness of Cena's signature moves, plus a knee from Rollins that shoved the champ's nose halfway across his face, basically breaking his nose. Gruesome though it was, the injured knocked both superstars into high gear. Rollins unleashed a suplex and a Michinoku driver, one after another, and the broken nose Cena eventually locked in a pair of savage STFs to force the champion to tap out. The champ is still here. Now somebody set that nose. And now will the WWE champion get his title shot? Or will the US champion rather get his title shot at the WWE champion at SummerSlam? We'll have to wait and see. Now, without further ado, guys, I'll run through what happened on SmackDown. Now, Seth Rollins and Cesaro. Cesaro beat Seth Rollins by a DQ, which led to a main event match involving Cesaro, who was supposed to face Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, but turned out to be Seth Rollins, a mystery partner. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens against a mystery partner, and Cesaro. More on that later. Los Matadores and Lucha Dragons defeat the New Day and the Ascension. SmackDown showcased Becky Lynch, as they should. They showcased Charlotte too. A match that I've seen many, many times before. Rusev defeating Jack Swagger. Excuse me. And Rusev beat Jack Swagger with his finishing move, Camel Clutch. Stardust defeats R-Truth, and then he chose to taunt Adrian Neville, and Adrian Neville obviously didn't take too kindly to it. Came out and attacked, or went after Stardust. Sheamus explains why he will take down Randy Orton. And the main event, which I'll talk about, although he seemed ready to go it alone against the World Heavyweight Champions Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, Cesaro received a lunatic surprise when Dean Ambrose decided to help out the Swiss Superman in SmackDown's tag team main event. In the height of the action, Ambrose sent the Architect to the ringside floor. In doing so, however, he left himself open for Owens' pop-up powerbomb. But before the brash former NXT champion could execute his finishing maneuver, Cesaro thwarted his efforts. The King of Swing rushed his opponent from behind and rolled him up for a quick 3 count. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the Raw and SmackDown main talking points. Hope you enjoyed that. Sorry if I sounded a little bit too bloopery, if you will, but there was a lot to read there. And stay tuned now, because after the break I will be back with NXT main talking points, so stay tuned. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/WM podcast and like the page and show your support to the podcast that stands up for professional wrestling, the Wrestling Matters podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 3 of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you're all well. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. Now we'll get into NXT. That's right, it's NXT time. NXT kicked off this week with Scott Dawson, Dash Wilder, and they beat Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. After coming up short in the number 1 contenders match against the Vaudevillains, Enzo and Big Cass were looking to establish themselves in the NXT tag title picture against a team looking to make a name for themselves in Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. Amore and Cassidy showed why they've been a fixture in the tag team division, with Big Cass muscling Wilder around, though the realest guys in the room fought through their opponent's grueling offense. Dawson and Wilder took Big Cass out of the picture, then hit Amore with the Shutter Machine to pick up a huge victory. Baron Corbin against Jesse Sorensen. A match that probably didn't take too long. Continuing his path of destruction, Corbin picked up another dominating victory this week, defeating Jesse in seconds with the End of Days. Is there anyone who can stand in the way of the seemingly unstoppable Lone Wolf? Jason Jordan and Chad Gable defeat Samson and Venezuela Jr. Brimming with confidence after achieving a victory in their debut match, Jordan and Gable set out to prove that their first win was not a fluke. They did just that. The Mat Wizards picked their opponents apart before hitting Venezuela with grand amplitude. Wow. For the 3 count. Now, the next match is Dana Brooke and Charlotte. Dana's been calling Charlotte out for weeks on NXT, and the genetically superior diva looked to be on her way to shutting Brooke up at the start of the bout until Dana sent her crashing shoulder first into the ring post. Brooke took control after that, taking Charlotte to the mat and wearing her down while mocking her participation in WWE's tap-out commercials. However, Brooke's trash talking only fired up her rival, motivating Charlotte to fight back, remove Dana's ally Emma from the equation, and connect with natural selection to earn a win. Kevin Owens versus Danny Burch. Now, many people may know who Danny Burch is, and when you see it, it is actually Martin Stone. Yes, Britain's Martin Stone. It was revealed that after last week's takeover, Brooklyn contract signing, Kevin Owens was fined an undisclosed amount of money for attacking General Manager William Regal. That only served to enrage Owens as he charges into battle. The former NXT champion bulldozed Danny Burch for a quick, dominant victory, screaming Finn Balor's name before hitting Burch with the pop-up powerbomb. After the bell, Owens powerbombed Burch on the ring apron before scaling the ropes to mock Finn Balor tagged trademark pose. Excuse me. NXT champions Blake and Murphy defeat the Vaudevillains. The number one contenders look primed to surprise the champions early in the bout as Simon Gotch surprised Blake with an unorthodox offense on several occasions. English tagged in and sent Blake and Murphy reeling with a big double arm drag, ensuring the Vaudevillains stayed in control. Champions finally took control when Blake tangled English up in the ropes with a big boot, allowing Blake and Murphy to cut the ring in half, preventing Gotch from getting in the bout. English was ultimately able to slip out of Murphy's grasp and tag his partner. Gotch came into the ring on fire, the strongman taking on both the champions himself, eventually getting Murphy into position for the Whirling Dervish. However, English charged into the ropes to hit his half of the maneuver. Bliss tripped him up, allowing Murphy to roll up English for the pin, retaining the NXT Tag Team titles. Furious Vaudevillains got a measure of payback after the bell, tossing Murphy from the ring and hitting Blake with the Whirling Dervish. Bliss was alone in the ring with Gotch and English, still furious that the Diva cost them the championship opportunity. However, Duo refused to hit a woman, instead holding the ropes open for Bliss to leave. For their show a great deal of respect, the Diva called the Vaudevillains pathetic before slapping both of them in the mouth. She may very well regret that in the near future. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the NXT main talking points. I'll be back right after this with TNA's main talking points. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, there wasn't that much to talk about on TNA this week. But I'll talk you through it anyway, because that's what I do on this show. So I'll be back after this. Stay tuned. Be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday for the Progress Wrestling Podcast. That's right, each and every week on Wednesdays, for the time being at least, I will be reviewing their shows from their on-demand service, Demand Progress. So be sure to check out the hottest promotion to come out of London. That's right, it's Progress Wrestling. This is Progress. This is a podcast on Progress. Every Wednesday on SoundCloud, YouTube, OSW TV, and every other podcasting site that matters. Be sure to check it out. Wrestling matters, wrestling fans. If you like the Wrestling Matters Podcast, why not follow the Wrestling Matters Podcast now on Twitter at WM Podcast for all professional wrestling news. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 4 of the Wrestling Matters Podcast, and now we'll talk about TNA. TNA started this week with Rockstar Spud and Austin Aries and Bully Ray, because Rockstar Spud challenged Bully Ray to a match. I'll go through it. Austin Aries says nobody works harder or cares more about professional wrestling than him. He adds there's nobody better than him. Aries takes exception to being left out of the number one contenders match last week and calls out the law, Bully Ray. Bully Ray says Aries is a great wrestler, that he moves his mouth too much, too quickly. Bully says Austin Aries can have a shot at the X Division Championship, but for any other title, he'll need to work his way back up to the top. Aries declines, saying he doesn't need the X Division title because it was designed for guys like Rockstar Spud, guys that will never be in the main event level. Spud interrupts. He said he looked up to Aries, the greatest champion in TNA. He says Aries created opportunities for guys like him. Aries counters by saying he created opportunities for himself, not for guys like Spud. Aries challenges Spud next week. He accepts, but a stipulation is added. If Aries loses to Spud, he leaves Impact Wrestling. if he wins. He takes Spud's Rockstar name. Aries drops Spud with a cheap shot. Going to be interesting, that Rockstar Aries. Not going to work though, because we all know, ladies and gentlemen, Austin Aries is now no longer in TNA. So, not to do a spoiler alert or anything, you know who's won that next week. Eric Young taunts and slaps Melendez to start the match. Melendez responds with a body drop. Young methodically, fucking hell, responds by slowing. Young responds by slowly picking apart Mendez. Young tells the fans this is your fault. Melendez attempts to come back, but Young overpowers and plants him with a power driver for the 3 count. Knockouts Championship, a member of the Dollhouse versus Brooke, which Brooke retained. Tigre Uno calls out Donald Trump again. Don't know where that's going. I really don't. The stipulation, EC3 defends his title against Matt Hardy next week at No Surrender. He claims Hardy only has the right to choose the stipulation for their match because he was duped. EC3 calls the Hardys a couple of hillbillies from North Carolina. EC3 calls Matt Hardy, I'm not going to reveal what he called him, to be honest with you. Jeff Hardy returns to Impact. Jeff tells EC3 that his overconfidence will kill him. Jeff's saying he is healing and that he'll be wrestling before he knows it. Jeff says he'll be the World Heavyweight Champion again. But for now, Matt Hardy will be the change. To the end to EC3. Hardy enters the Impact Zone. He says he'll been told he can't have his whole life. He said he'd been told he can't his whole life, yet he has done. He says next week will be no different. He pulls a table, chair and ladder from beneath the ring. Then he refers to the stairs, and then the rest of the Impact Zone knew what it was coming, because next week it'll be Matt Hardy and EC3 in full metal mayhem with nobody at ringside. 1-on-1. Should be good. The mixed tag match, James Storm and Serena versus Magnus and Mickey James, and Mickey goes out with a bang. And Magnus and Mickey finally put an end to this feud, hopefully, by beating James Storm and Serena, and Mickey James putting the icing on the cake by DDTing James Storm after the match. And the Hall of Fame induction for Jeff Jarrett. This is the GFW owner and promoter now. Dixie Carter enters the Impact Zone to handle the induction. She says Jeff Jarrett is a 3rd generation competitor, that wrestling is in his DNA. Dixie recalls how she and Jarrett met, and the founding of TNA in 2002. She introduced the newest inductee, Jeff Jarrett, with Karen. Dixie formally inducts him into the TNA Hall of Fame. Jarrett thanks the fans and anyone who's ever received a paycheck from TNA Wrestling. He thanks the Carter family and the entire team behind the show, with special thanks to Mike Tenay and Don West. Jarrett thanks the X Division and its competitors. He praises and thanks the Knockouts and references the rating for Gail Kim vs. Awesome Kong's main event. He thanks tag team wrestlers, notably Team 3D. Jarrett thanks the heavyweights, Mick Foley, Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, and AJ Styles. Jarrett thanks Dixie Carter for making the decision to put him in the Hall of Fame. Finally, he thanks his family, notably his father, daughters, and wife. Jarrett receives a standing ovation in the Impact Zone, and Impact Wrestling goes off air. And I'm surprised, and I'll probably think that Jeff Jarrett's not done with TNA fully yet, because, as you know, TNA and GFW are in partnership. So the now Hall of Famer will sometime be around TNA in his able future, I'm sure. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back right after this quick time out with the Ring of Honor review, so stay tuned. Be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday for the Progress Wrestling Podcast. That's right, each and every week on Wednesdays, for the time being at least, I will be reviewing their shows from their on-demand service, Demand Progress. So be sure to check out the hottest promotion to come out of London. That's right, it's Progress Wrestling. This is Progress. This is a podcast on Progress. Every Wednesday on Soundcloud, YouTube, OSW TV, and every other podcasting site that matters. Be sure to check it out. Wrestling matters, wrestling fans. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 5 of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is now time for what some people say is the best wrestling on the planet, or the best professional wrestling on the planet. Well, that's for debate, I guess, but it's now time for the Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor kicked off this week with 2 jobbers against the Kingdom. Nothing much to say in this match, but Kingdom show why they are one of the top tag teams in the world today. Kingdom shake hands with their opponents, then super kick them in the face. Bennett spears one of the opponents on the outside on the apron. Spears them on the apron. Kingdom kicking ass on the outside. If you can believe this, the jobbers get a crowd chant. Let's go jobbers. I'm not even kidding. Matt Taven gets a near fall. One of the jobbers, Gresham, gets a fight back on the Kingdom, but Kingdom hit a double team. Hollis gets tagged in, fight back on. Taven hits a super kick. Mike hits a spear and they get a near fall. Taven springboard kicks. Kingdom hit a double super kick, then hit the double spike pile driver, top rope spike pile driver, whatever you want to call it, and get the win. Relatively easy, I would have thought. Now, a 6-man mayhem match, which involved Cheeseburger, Brutal Bob, Caprice Coleman, Dalton Castle, is it Salas Young, and Moose. Bob tags Moose, starts with Castle. Castle tags in Cheeseburger, and then Bob tags in Young. Young uses his power on Burger. Cheeseburger using quickness, but Young in control. Coleman gets 3 near falls. Coleman hits a super kick on Young as Ring of Honor goes to break. Back from the break, Moose is in control. Castle drop kicks Bob. Young hits Castle from behind. Young in control. Bob hits a backbreaker, tags Young. Young suplexes Castle and gets a near fall. Then wears out Castle on the mat. Young takes out Castle's boys. Moose gets the tag. Fight back is on. Hard hitting offense and power shown by Moose. Caprice hits a moonsault. Young cuts off Moose. Moose hits a dive on 4 guys on the outside. Castle stops Moose. Young stops Castle. Fast-paced action at its best. Moose clotheslines Cheeseburger. Castle hits a German on Moose. Bob looking for a cheap win rather. Cheeseburger stops that. Then Moose hits a spear on Bob, gets the win. Big win for Moose. Now, coming back from the commercial break, Decatur in the ring, and BJ cuts a promo, says he is proud of Colby and says Colby is now like a son to him. Just trying to piss off Steve Corino at ringside. BJ says he booked Colby in a gauntlet match. BJ calls a ref down and the gauntlet match gets underway. 4 Ring of Honor tryouts come out looking to wrestle Colby, but Steve stops the guys. Steve gets in the ring and wants a piece of BJ. All hell breaks loose. BJ even goes and makes remarks about his family and his wife. Will this ever end with BJ Whitmer? Will Steve Corino be allowed to get his revenge? I blooming hope so. Inside Ring of Honor takes place, and then the main event, which saw ACH and Bobby Fish. ACH gets away from a kick from Bobby. ACH works on the arm of Fish. Even match so far. Great mat wrestling by both men. ACH hits a drop kick. ACH hits a suplex from the corner. Gets a near fall. ACH misses a dive as ROH goes to break. Back from the break, Fish is in control. ACH throwing kicks, then kicks Fish in the face. Forearm clothesline combo, gets a near fall for ACH. ACH catches him coming in from the outside. He steps in the ring and then just jumps and then does like a downward spiral move and drives him to the mat and gets a near fall. Fish hits a fall away slam, mounts a fight back, hits an exploder suplex into the buckles and gets a near fall. Toe to toe in the ring. ACH gets out the way of Fish. ACH on the apron, kicks Fish in the face, then hits a high jump dive on Fish on the outside. ACH misses the stomp from top. Fish hits a dragon screw leg whip. ACH kicks Fish in the face, gets a near fall. Super kicks him in the face. ACH goes for 450. Fish gets his knees up and gets a near fall off a roll up, like a cradle roll up. Fish locks in a knee bar. Fish hook is also locked in at some point as well. ACH gets out very creatively and gets a near fall. ACH throws Fish in the corner. Fish hits a Super Falcon arrow from the top, gets the win, and both men show respect at the end to the Code of Honor and Ring of Honor winner there. 4 out of 5 for that for me. It was absolutely awesome. Will this thing ever end between BJ Whitmer and Steve Corino? I guess we'll find out next time around. Also tune in next week because we'll find out the fallout of where Adam Cole stands. Because Adam Cole will go one-on-one with Kyle O'Reilly next week. Where does he stand in the kingdom after what happened 3 weeks ago? Guess we'll find out next week. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the Ring of Honor review. I'll be back after this with a tribute and to a wrestler who's known. I'll be back after this with a tribute for the final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast, so stay tuned. Be sure to tune in every single Tuesday now for the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra, where I'll be hosting a podcast on one promotion and one promotion only. ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, the hottest promotion in Scotland, where I'll be reviewing their shows. Oh my God! Talking ICW.
That's 13-14!
And who knows, maybe getting some guests on. So be sure to tune in to the Wrestling Matters Podcast Extra ICW podcast, Insane Championship Wrestling, every Tuesday on YouTube, Podomatic, Stitcher Radio, downloaded free at iTunes, Mixcloud, and Soundcloud. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 6th and final part of the Wrestling Matters podcast. And as you well know at the top of the show, ladies and gentlemen, it is dedicated, this whole show, episode 70, is dedicated to somebody who passed away this week unexpectedly and gave me the shock on Friday as I was ready to go to bed and get ready for work. This past Friday, I got word through the internet and TMZ that wrestling lost a legend, an unbelievable legend. The original rebel of professional wrestling, Rowdy Roddy Piper, died age 61 of a cardiac arrest this past week. Left me speechless, left me shocked. I went into work the next day. On Saturday, I went to work the next day to work a Middlesbrough match, and everybody was talking about it. Everybody came up to me and said, "What about Roddy Piper?" And I was still speechless. In a way, I was in mourning too, because Piper was one of my all-time favourites, and he was, like I say, he was the original rebel of professional wrestling. So, in honour of his tribute, I did a video this past weekend. I recorded a video this past week, right after I came over to work, giving my memories and my thoughts on Piper and all the great moments that he's left me and all that. And I'm going to play the audio right now. So sit back, relax and enjoy. And then when this is all said and done, I'm going to play something else as well to end the show. So sit back, relax. If you want to see this video in its entirety, if you want to see the video, check it out on the Wrestling Matters channel, which is youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. I will leave this video link in the description on YouTube, on SoundCloud, or wherever else is going to be played as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this audio, and I'll be back right after this. Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker, the HD, the A to the D, the host of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you're all well, whatever it is you are doing. Wow. Boy, did I get a shock Friday night. I scheduled a live stream today to do a video podcast. I didn't know what to have. You know, I was going to talk wrestling and talk about various topics and various things and give my opinions on things. And I was up Friday night working, as I do, you know, working on my Games Matter channel and maybe some podcast work, the odd podcast work as well, getting ready for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And getting ready to do a very special edition of the video podcast, because I was going to review Shug's Hoose Party 2, which took place last Sunday. I was going to review that and get it all prepared and everything. But like I say, something shocked the world of professional wrestling. And notice I said professional wrestling and not sports entertainment, because I don't promote sports entertainment here on the Wrestling Matters channel, or even on the podcast for that matter. But yeah, found out Friday night, about midnight time. May have happened a little earlier than that, but I found out midnight that probably one of the greatest legends of all time, the original rebel of professional wrestling, the one and only, thank God. Many call him Mr. WrestleMania because it was because of WrestleMania. Many think he was the reason WrestleMania got off the ground. Rowdy Roddy Piper died, age 61, of a cardiac arrest. Thanks to TMZ. I didn't get it from TMZ. I got it from WWE.com, because when you hear stuff like this, yes, TMZ are very good at what they do and very good as far as bringing you the news and everything. But I never like to believe it until I've seen it on WWE.com. And I did. I saw it on WWE.com. And for the first time ever, I was absolutely speechless. Never saw this coming whatsoever. Did not see this happening at all. Holy moly. And out of the blue. And I didn't realize how popular. I mean, I knew he was popular, for Pete's sake. He's a legend, for crying out loud. But apparently the BBC even got out of it as well, and even broadcasting about it, and BBC Tees and stuff. And there was a radio program over here, Fly Me to the Moon, which is based off the Middlesbrough Football Club stuff and everything. And they even covered it as well. And he was well known. People had him. You know, people got out of the guy and everything. And I'm in a state of shock. And that's 3 legends this year that have gone. 3 legends. Dusty Rhodes. I believe it was Ultimate Warrior. I believe it was this year. I don't know. But Ultimate Warrior's gone. Dusty Rhodes is gone. And now Piper. And in my opinion, out of all the legends that have died, unfortunately passed away, I would have to say this is the one that's kicked me in the balls, quite frankly, and kicked many other people as well. You know, as you would imagine now, his podcast is no more, because that's what he was doing. Now he was out at WWE, and apparently there was this thing going around with him and Austin about arguing and feuding about podcasts and everything. I don't know. I don't want to get into that at the moment. One of my fun memories of the legend himself. Ooh, where do I begin? WrestleMania 1. The whole rock and wrestling connection, which started well before that. And it led to the fight they had on MTV, the war to sell the score. The straight up brawl they had on MTV, which turned into, and you could see clear as day in that match, which is on YouTube, by the way. Go and find it. Just type in war to sell the score, Hogan and Piper in the search engine, and you will see it in all its entirety. It's split up into 2 parts. I think the match is part 2. Hogan coming out to his the Tiger theme song, and Piper coming out to Piper wearing a Hulkamaniac t-shirt. There was that, and you when you see that match, you will see that it was the build towards WrestleMania 1 and what took place at WrestleMania 1, which involved Piper, Orndorff versus Hogan and Mr. T, with Cowboy Bob Orton in Piper in Orndorff's corner, Snooker in Hogan and T's corner. And that's what got WrestleMania off the ground. Another great memories of him. The dog collar match he had with Greg Valentine in the Starcade show. Can't remember what Starcade it was. I believe it was 83. The very first Starcade. The night Flair beat Harley Race for the world title in that cage. Yeah. I mean, what can you say? Many other memories as well. Rowdy Piper winning the Intercontinental Championship at Royal Rumble 92, the night Flair won the WWF title. And he participated in the Rumble as well. But the night he won the Intercontinental Championship by beating Jacques Rougeau, who many of you may remember that time as the Mountie. Unfortunately, he ended up losing it 2 months later at WrestleMania 8 in an incredible match with him and Bret Hart. Incredible match. In my opinion, that was the best match on the WrestleMania 8 card, in my view. There was a time he came back later on, about, say, 2006, when him and Ric Flair became WWE World Tag Team Champions, back when they had them World Tag Team belts that they had on Raw. Not the crap they have today, which was really cool. 2 old-timers getting a crack at the tag team titles. They didn't have it long, but, 2 old friends and great rivals. There was a matches he had with Ric Flair as well, the feud he had with Ric Flair, not just in WWE as well, in WCW. They had some matches at Bash. They had a match at Bash of the Beach. They did angles where him and when Flair was the president and he was the vice president, which led to a match between them two. Flair turning on Piper when he was trying to align himself with Piper, Flair, that is, when he was with the Horsemen, and they turn on it. That's on YouTube. Just type in Ric Flair turns on Piper and you'll see it. When the Horsemen came out, it was Benoit and Mongo. They tried to get in the face. They were trying to get in his face and everything, and then Flair didn't want anything to happen and everything, and then Piper clouts Mongo and then beats up and takes a shot at Benoit, and Flair's like in the corner going, damn, and then obviously naturally Flair's going to turn on Piper because it was the Horseman. So whatever business deals they had then, went right out the window. And I think they had a match as well at Bash of the Beach that year. This was in 97. They had a match at Bash of the Beach that year as well in 97, which led to that and everything. I remember it because Benoit came down, and I think Piper put him to sleep, just like he did with Hogan. I mean, not just with Hogan in WWE, the feud with him in WWE. How about the feud he had with him in WCW? When Piper came out at Halloween Havoc after Hogan beat I believe it was Macho Man. They had it there. The match, him and the Giant, who's now the Big Show, in the ring and everything. And I think the pay-per-view went off the air because it was on Nitro. They showed what happened afterwards, and Piper's music came out, and Hogan's face was priceless. Because he didn't expect his arch nemesis to come out, and Hogan's face was like, "What? Are you kidding me?" And then he got into an argument and then decided to have a match which settled the score. At least they tried to have a match which settled the score. They had a match when, I believe it was at Starrcade of 1 year, when Piper put him to sleep and everything. And then they tried to show it on Nitro, and WCW trying to rub it in, Tony Schiavone, and then Bischoff grabbed the tape and ripped it up. And then they had a match at Super Brawl. I believe that was 97. Of Super Brawl, when Piper had Hogan beat, but Macho Man joined the NWO of that year, and Macho and Hulk put a beat down on Piper that year. Some great memories as well when Piper brought his son out one Nitro. Piper brought his son out on Nitro. I don't know. I think Hogan challenged him to a match, and WCW were trying to think, will he take the match? Will he accept the match and everything? And Piper brought his son out and everything, and then Bischoff and Hogan came down and caused all sorts of hell. Piper tried, slapping Piper in the back of the head like he was some sort of a bully. And then Piper turned around saying to his son, "I am sorry." And then turned around and started beating the piss out of Hogan and Bischoff. Ted DiBiase came down to try to steal the belt. Piper manages to get the world title belt, and I believe held it hostage, which led into their match at Halloween. I believe it was Halloween Havoc. with a big, huge, the huge cage that looked like a Punjabi prison around it, and then Macho Man doing that big leap off the ropes and everything, and all hell breaking loose in that match, which was great. Another WCW memory of Piper, before I go back to WWE, was him winning the United States Championship in 1999, which to me was this most ridiculous way. I mean, he got into another feud with Bret. I believe he became number one contender to the US title at one point. And I don't know, he went on this. Bret Hart went on Mad TV and didn't take too kindly to what they were trying to do. And Bret got a chair, beat up the star of Mad TV, put him in a sharpshooter on the show. People thought it was all part of the act and everything. It wasn't. Well, it was all part of the WCW act anyway, but it wasn't. And, I mean, good grief. Anyway, Bret has him in the sharpshooter, and then Piper, it goes to a match on Nitro. This was on Nitro. Piper challenged Bret for the US title, and the guy was in the crowd, and it cost him the match. And then I remember the match finish was Bret had him beat. I don't know. Bret was going for a weapon, and the star who was in the corner of him, wanting Piper to win it, grabbed out of it, and they got into like a tug of war. And then the Mad TV star let go. I can't remember his name, but he let go. Bret fell back. Piper rolled him up, pinned him 1, 2, 3, and Bret lost the US title, and Piper became the US champion, WCW US champion. Didn't have it long, because I believe at the pay-per-view, the upcoming pay-per-view after that, he lost it to Scott Hall. I don't know if he had a good run with it. I don't remember if he had a run with it, but I know he lost it to Scott Hall at, I believe it was Super Brawl, the pay-per-view. I believe it was the 1999 Super Brawl. That year. I know Piper did win that match in 1999. I know that. What else? Oh yeah, back to WWE. How about that Hollywood backlot brawl he had with with Goldust, which was so fixed. It was so set up to a T that they had to fight in the backlot, wherever the heck it was, undisclosed location, as they say. And then they both get in a car. Goldust gets in the car, drives down the highway. Piper gets in the car after him, and then it turns into O.J. Simpson. An O.J. Simpson trial, apparently, when the police cars were chasing O.J. Simpson. Oh, my God. It was so done. And then Piper eventually got him back in the arena at the Hyde Park at WrestleMania 12 and finished the job, basically, and humiliated Goldust, which was awesome. And he was acting president at that point, until the main event when they announced that Gorilla Monsoon was going to be the president of WWE at that point. He was acting president. But Goldust basically pissed him off. no polite way of putting it. Basically pissed him off, and Piper kicked his ass at WrestleMania. What else do I remember? Oh, of course. How can we forget? Piper's Pit. There was the WrestleMania 5. WrestleMania 5, when Brother Love came out to do Piper's Pit. Try to beat Piper, mock Piper and everything. Nobody thought Piper was around. Piper comes out, and they had a celebrity in there, and the celebrity, I can't remember the celebrity's name. I know his face, but I can't remember his name. The celebrity started blowing smoke in Piper's face while he was trying to interview him. And it was the most funniest thing ever. He was blowing smoke, and he was like, "Don't blow smoke in my face." And he kept on doing it. He wouldn't stop. That's it. Morton Downey Jr. That's it. I knew it would come to me eventually. Morton Downey Jr. And he goes, and Jr. turns his back on him. Piper gets up. He's still smoking a cigar, Morton, like. Piper gets up, lifts the stool up, has a fire extinguisher underneath it, and Mr. Downey, would you mind turning round, please? And just sets off this fire extinguisher and starts spraying it with the fire extinguisher. Oh, it was great. Oh my god, it was so good. There was the incident with Andre the Giant. Man, the Giant grabbed hold of him, which pissed him off. He was mocking. How can you mock a 500-pound giant, for Pete's sake? 7-foot tall giant on the show. Only Roddy Piper would do that, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, Jesus Christ. And then I don't know what they were doing. It was all mocking thing and everything. And then Piper grabbed that, and then Andre, grabbed hold of him and started yelling at him and everything. And obviously, that pissed Piper off. He even took his shirt off. He wanted to fight Andre right there and then, which was fucking hilarious. And then there was the old incident with Jimmy Snuka, the coconut incident. Jimmy Snuka accused Piper of mocking him because he had bananas and coconuts, and then Piper picked a coconut and just whacked him with it and went right through the set and continued to whack him as well, even beating him down with his own belt. Many years later, Rikishi got revenge on Piper during a match with him and Sean O'Haire at a Backlash pay-per-view, and Piper was in the corner, and Piper took a coconut to the head from Rikishi, because Snuka and Rikishi are related. And I believe at one point as well, during TNA, their very first official pay-per-view, not the weekly pay-per-views that they used to do. This was after that, when they eventually, I believe they got the Impact Zone, and they got the Impact show. They did a pay-per-view, 2004, which was headlined by, I believe it was headlined by probably the craziest cage match I'd ever seen. Elix Skipper, Chris Daniels against AMW. That famous walk across the fucking cage from Elix Skipper when he did the Hurricane Rana. I'm done. Unbelievable. And the Macho Man, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy against Kings of Wrestling, or as they were known, that's what they were known then, but everybody knows it was NWO 2000. It was NWO 2000. Yeah. I apologize if I'm looking down. I'm just checking to see if everything's still intact. Every recording's intact. My stuff's been playing up with me lately, so I apologize if I'm down there. I'm still with you. I mean, and I believe on that they did a special on that pay-per-view, they did a special Piper's Pit angle with him and Snuka, and Piper allowed him to get revenge. He wanted him to get revenge right there and then. But Snuka wouldn't do it because he didn't want to attack him from behind or anything like that. And then there was the Royal Rumble. I believe it was the Air Cena won it, where he came back out of nowhere and won it, which led him into WrestleMania, which led to that triple threat match at WrestleMania between Orton, Cena, and Triple H. I believe it was 24. I'm pretty sure it was 24. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty 100% sure it was 24. That triple threat match. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure it was. But at the Royal Rumble of that year as well, which was held in MSG, WWE had a little bit of a surprise. Piper comes out and Snuka comes out, and the next minute, everybody's watching in the ring. Everybody who was participating in that Royal Rumble just stood there and watched these two legends go at it. It was like time stood still. It was like these two legends, Piper and Snuka, just going at it one-on-one. They didn't even do that. They didn't even want to step in. You could just see they'd have been best off just getting out the ring. That's what it was. I mean, it was just incredible. Memorable moments from Piper, and I could probably give you a list. What are your memorable moments? Do you have any memorable moments? Stick them in the comment box below on YouTube. I can go through a lot, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And there you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. That's about it for this episode of the Wrestling Matters podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. Tune in next time. Tune in to ICW this Tuesday and Progress Wrestling this Wednesday as well for another installment of their respective episodes. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is a sad day. It was a sad day to be a wrestling fan. It was a sad weekend to be a wrestling fan, considering that professional wrestling lost its legend. That's right. Shout out to OSW TV. Be sure to check them out at oswtv.co.uk. But I will leave you, ladies and gentlemen, with a tribute to the legend himself, Rowdy Roddy Piper, with this audio of one of my favorite promos that Rowdy Piper's done, taken from Royal Rumble 1992, going into his match with the Mountie for the Intercontinental Championship. It was absolutely awesome. So until next time, guys, I'll leave you with this. See you next time. My name is Anthony Walker. Peace out.
Roddy Piper, I can't believe a man, the Mountie, who has held the Intercontinental title for less than 48 hours, can be quite so cocky, quite so arrogant.
Well, you know, what we're dealing with is one of the original Village people here, with his mate Jimmy Hart, who keeps kissing the belt, leaving all that lipstick on it. I heard the Mountie out there saying, first thing I'm going to do, pounds his chest, I don't know, Hemi something. First thing I'm going to do, says I'm going to take Piper's integrity. It's like Jacques Cousteau trying to find a dry spot in the ocean. I ain't got no damn integrity. You think I got so far? Second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take Roddy Piper's manhood. Huh? I come here to fight. I don't know what you come here to do. I come here to win 2 titles. I can't do that till I win the first one. I think you've been dreaming. I think it's been all wet, too.
Oh, on that note, let's get back to ringside.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Professional wrestling, this is it. This is us standing up.
Yes, 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 yes!
That's 13-14.
Dina, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold Simpson.